As well, we know that Pavel went out for some gondola ride with Firebat yesterday, and then Purple, of course, we were talking with him as a group, having some drinks last night. It was good fun.
And here for Purple, pretty good start to get things going up against Pavel's Warlock. Obviously, the Jade Druid is a pretty big favorite in this matchup, as both players...
Man! That emote APM, how many do you think we can fit in one game? Can we get a counter, please?
Nice, kind of setting us up for what we can perhaps expect in this series between these two players who are undeniably streamers, dreamers, and most assuredly memers.
Yes, they do seem like the best of friends, and Nemzi really making that point apparent to us.
We're going into this game while Pavel obviously is looking to have a pretty difficult game. He's got a pretty good way to get things going, actually. Skull of the Minari is a fantastic way to start getting that Doomguard cube ridiculousness to occur.
Wait, one sec. We're on turn 5 already, is it, for Pavel when we get there? So does that mean these players kind of have an internal turn timer, which is set at like
3 seconds?
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like they've made some secret deal to not bring this on too much longer than it has to be.
Some kind of a dark pact.
Right. I feel like we're playing a game on hard mode here. Casting on hard mode. Alright, so Harrison coming down, draw 3 cards. Yeah, Wallgrove fits in this curve perfectly. Over to you, Derek.
And now for Pavel, he's looking a little bit worse, so he's going to have to maybe play a Doomguard to fight back. Back to you, Gia.
Okay, Defile's looking pretty good here to at least clear off those 2 minions, and then he could, play this as well. Yeah, sure. So this puts the Harrison at 1 health. And another Mistress over there to contest it.
And
well played.
All of a sudden, this is looking quite a lot worse for Pavel. Purple can make several fantastic plays to fight back onto the board. Bone Mare, just for sheer tempo right now, seems great, because unless everything is cleared off the board or a great amount of healing comes down, double swipe will close out the game.
Right, and Pavel was not able to play Hellfire that much earlier, so the Hellfire will not be online, and so double swipe will be it. What a Spitfire match, Derek.
That was absolutely ridiculous, as Purple is considering not taking the lethal to turn this 3-second game into a 10-hour game, but it seems in this instance he's happy just to take the first victory in a way that I was not expecting.
At all. I was not expecting that either. Happy Feast of Wintervale, though, very, very appropriate timing for this emote, and I really, really wonder if these two have worked something out.
Yeah.
Behind our backs, but I remember I was saying that last series between Purple and Virtual was the fastest we'd ever seen.
Yeah.
We could be breaking some records here.
I think we could be breaking records for Hearthstone full stop, outside of the crazy Undertaker era last Hero standing matches, which were absolutely absurd.
The fastest series without any concedes,
yeah, okay, yeah.
And the most emotes fit in.
I think there's a lot of records to be broken here today. I think, well, they may not have necessarily worked out some kind of a strategy together for the game, at least for their intro, unless we're somehow suddenly in a musical and they both just know exactly how to do the perfect intro together. That was definitely a real work of rehearsal and teamwork.
These two are veterans of big stages, and they're definitely providing us quite a fun show to get us hyped up for the final match, so can't feel too bad about that. And now we're going into a cube lock mirror, and I wonder if they start tapping so fast that someone burns a card.
Yeah. Well, for Pavel here, the tap plan is definitely what he's going for, because he doesn't stand a chance of winning in fatigue against Purple's lineup. He just needs to make sure he gets the cube the cube faceless manipulated Doomguard nonsense to start happening very, very quickly.
We could start seeing that button just being spammed from Pavel here, and Purple, I guess you can tap in kind?
Yeah, you want to make sure you're just keeping even to your opponent. You don't want to be tapping too much, but at the same time, he has double Gnome Ferratu, which just destroys 2 cards from his opponent.
Yeah, this is very much the story of this Warlock deck. Hate to get serious now, guys, but Purple brought this build of Warlock, and so did Firebat, to be good in the mirror as well as against aggro decks, and Derek is just having the time of his life here.
Well, here Pavel emotes not once he's played the Skull of Minari as if to say, wow, what a great draw. He plays it when it just goes into his hand, as if to indicate, I have the perfect hand already. And make no mistake, this is the exact hand that Pavel is looking for. Skull is perfect, Cube and Doom Pact, perfect. The Mountain Giant, the Faceless Manipulator, all are amazing cards.
Right, and it intrigues me now that he's spotted the perfect hand. It's now that he decides to hesitate?
Yeah, now
when he
like,
is a giant on 4, sure.
Okay, serious mod.
I guess he has something cooking up in there, but yeah, again, the story for Purple's Warlock is that it is running Rin and a bunch of techs that punish these greedy decks. He's not got the Elise that Firebat has brought, but Nosferatu, Purple is absolutely convinced that this deck should beat Q-Block, except maybe when they get some nuts draws like this.
That's right. When he was talking in the player lounge about this deck, he says, obviously you're very favoured in this matchup because he's teched it so heavily to do so, but there's a window around turn 6 or 7 where the Priest, before the Void Lords start coming down for Purple, and Pavel can just push damage with these Doom Guards, with the Skull of Manari, with the Faceless Manipulators. It's just so much pressure.
So we will see a very, very easy Skull of Manari, I believe, here. Are you ever tempted by Hellfire to start pushing damage more with the Mountain Giant?
I don't think so. If I wasn't going to go for the Skull, maybe I'll go for something like a Faceless here. But here, going with the Hellfire just to push damage, I guess the Skull of Manari works just as well on a following turn.
I don't mind it too much at all. It just seems super clean while it's still providing a threat that Purple needs to deal with. Clearly doesn't mind too much though, so there's no chance for lethal here, is there?
It's not, but it's
not
a
Void Lord.
lot of damage pushing through with the Spellbreaker able to take it out. Another 8 damage being pushed through, and then there's still all the Void Lord, or all the Doomguard nonsense that can come down with the cube. So Pavel actually not in too bad of a spot here, I would say.
No, not at all. I just wonder if he would like to go for the Void Spellbreaker here when the Skull of Manari seems too prime. I feel like this Mountain Giant has put in a fair share of work already, so he can go for his usual game plan of Doomguard, cube it, pact it, and get going.
Okay, I think I actually like your thinking there, because yes, you could silence it now, but maybe it's more important to silence it when you're pushing forward 10 damage, 15 damage in one turn with the Doomguards.
Yeah, 8 is such a small number these days, huh? When you're playing Malagos in triplicate to get swipes upward of 19 damage and things like that.
That'll get it done, I'd say.
So Pavel actually having a long think at it. Very, very contrary to what we saw in the first game.
It's a difficult choice. I can still very much respect the reasoning for going for Spellbreaker. 8 damage is an awful lot.
Yes.
And on the following turn, once Doomguard is pulled out of his hand, all of a sudden the Spellbreaker, you probably don't have the mana for it because you really want to get that cube rolling.
Is that a pun? You can roll a cube like a die.
Yeah, that was well done.
Yeah.
You spotted it perfectly.
Well, who is going to make that dream dead? Perhaps that was what Pavel was thinking about. But then again, if you're worried about Ooze, then you should probably just play the Skull as soon as possible while it's the highest chance for it to not have been drawn yet.
And now, again here, another way to pull Doomguard out of the deck. More likely to get a Void Lord, obviously, is Pavel. Does manage to get it in the end. However, Purple has the perfect way of dealing with it. And now with Skull of Manari gone, Doomguard in hand, and no more Doomguards in deck, the full combo for Pavel becomes significantly more difficult to do.
Right, this is completely reversed quite quickly. Pavel's already down to 13, and that Mountain Giant, most of its damage has been negated by the heal that Purple was able to efficiently parcel out. So does Pavel still have a way out here?
I mean, the window has mostly shut here for Pavel. There's going to be too many taunts coming down over the next few turns with Void Lords and Gul'dan for Purple. But at the same time, he can still make a bunch of Doomguards with the cubes and the Dark Pact, and then summon them back with Blood Reaver Gul'dan. So maybe if he can just get one turn of no taunts on the board, then he can push for a truly ridiculous one-turn kill combo.
Absolutely. And Pavel going for the Spellbreaker there, even though the Voidwalker is able to trade up, just because he knows that he's not that well equipped to deal with Voidwalkers, and also there just wasn't a whole lot to do that turn. He's at 8.
He's getting down very low. Purple probably not pushing towards lethal quite yet in the next turn or two because of that Mistress of Mixtures. But just because of Blood Reaver Gul'dan, it's going to be putting a constant clock on Pavel to either play his own Blood Reaver or find some healing pretty pronto.
Yeah, and just not seeing how this works out for Pavel. All these minions die straight up to Hellfire, and Pavel can get a Gul'dan down, but Purple has the Twisting Nether, and after that, where's the refill?
And the thing is that now that both of the Spellbreakers have come down, just playing a Void Lord here is so good for Purple.
Absolutely.
Maybe he was a bit afraid beforehand, because if it gets silenced and there's a way he can connect to face with a couple of Doomguards from the Blood Reaver, then it gets scary. But at this point, there's going to be at least 2 more summoned on the following turn when Blood Reaver comes down as well.
So maybe the play for Pavel here is to just play out this Doom Guard like that. Hope he doesn't discard the Gul'dan, but if he would maybe gotten 2 more Doom Guards to die, well, 3 including the ones that come off the cube, he could have put together enough burst damage with a Gul'dan to make that happen, but the win condition has been discarded for Pavel.
It's true. Well, the win condition has also gone from Purple.
Aha! Not too necessary, though, as Purple's getting, what, 3 Void Lords and a Doom Guard, or...?
Just
Warriors.
Yeah,
I cannot keep track at all.
And there are now 6 Doom Guards hidden away for Pavel amongst these cubes. But even then, I think it can just be cleared up far too easily with a twisting Nether at some point down the line for Purple. And now that the Blood Reaver Gul'dan is out of the way, I mean, Purple can just start pushing for lethal, I think.
Isn't this just lethal with double Hellfire?
It is, in fact, just lethal.
So, yeah. Great game, guys.
Purple up 2 games to 0, even though Pavel taking it a lot slower because he had a really good shot at taking that game. Purple's showing why putting just Void Lords in your deck as opposed to the Doom Guard give you such more consistent potential for defensive options.
Really cool to see if you just blocked out those hero portraits there and you looked at the board, you're like, wow, that is 6 Doom Guards. How the heck does that happen? But turns out Pavel's already dead.
If you're dead, yeah, no amount of Doom Guards will save you from that one. And now, for Pavel, he is left only to take out the Razaka's Priest from his opponent. And that's no easy feat. For 3 games to win with a Priest, it's pretty easy for Purple to do. He was actually in this exact spot yesterday, I believe, where he was 2 games up with his Kazakus Priest. Ended up losing 2 thereafter, but was able to take the last one against a Hunter.
Right, but because Pavel's got the Warlock, I feel like the Priest still has a good chance. Maybe
Absolutely.
Pavel queues up that Druid to get something fun going again, but I'm not sure if these players are here to just milk their screen time. Neither of them needs more screen time, we can say that for sure. Maybe the tiredness is setting in and Pavel just saying, alright, I'll just queue whatever.
Yeah, very possibly. I mean, you're looking at the previous world champion and very possibly the future world champion.
True.
And you know that for them, it's just about having a laugh with their friends. And this is showing one of the other most important facets of Hearthstone is it's not only about crushing your opponents completely, it's also about having a jolly good giggle with your friends.
I have no idea what it is they're laughing at, but clearly it is hilarious.
I mean, Purple was saying in his interview he loves playing against Pavel because he just cracks him up no matter what.
Yeah, those two crack each other up. And what is that?
Pavel saying about his opening hand, yeah, pretty good actually. You should probably mulligan for a very good hand.
Yeah, and Pavel just juts his lip out like, okay.
You're literally saying to your opponent that you found Keleseth. No other face deserves a other than Keleseth.
And Shadow Step as well.
Ooh.
Ooh, actually holding on to it. Dirty Rat can negate 1 battle cry of the Keleseth, but Pavel could actually just Shadow Step it back. That'd be really funny. Oh, unlucky.
I mean, that's kind of bad for Pavel because that was a nice amount of refill, but he could even Shadow Step it back still if he wanted to.
Sure. Do you feel like that's a more effective Shadow Step target than Keleseth again? With a hand this light, I wouldn't mind it at all.
It just depends how long you're expecting the game to go on for, because if you find 2 buffed minions instantly, there's actually a lot of quite dense pressure you're throwing down. But if it's going on for a long time, you'll probably find another Elven Minstrel at some point later on down the line in addition.
And Purple's just like, what? You had it and I didn't pull it out. There is no poetic justice in this game. So Pavel is just like... Was that making a signal for 2 so I can play it twice?
Well, he's actually just asking, should I go for 1 or should I go for 2? Trying to find out what Purple wants him to play. Purple trying to make him Shadow Step back the Minstrel, but Pavel in the end realizing, yep, Keleseth Shadow Step is pretty damn good.
This feels honestly like the kind of game that you might find at a tourney like Seed Story, perhaps, after the players have had a couple drinks or they've actually just been knocked out and maybe are having a game just for laughs.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully this is the kind of thing that can only help your opponent, as Pavel gives away basically all the information he possibly could, but it doesn't matter because he is drawing absolutely perfectly.
Sure, double Yetis with taunt against a Priest seems pretty good, and Purple is just like, meh, what am I gonna do here?
Wow.
Frankly, not much. Priest of the Feast? doesn't really challenge anything that well, but at least it doesn't die straight up to one of the 4/5s. So I guess you play it out, save the Occupy for turn 6 when you can maybe ping something off.
Exactly, and maybe if you draw a circle, you're looking for optimistic scenarios to start wrestling this back. Because when you're facing down 5/5 agents, even just as vanilla without the Battle Cry combo effect, that's gross.
Absolutely, and I think Pavel is looking to go for... there's no clean way to put down Corridor Creeper while getting rid of the Radiant using the SI7, so maybe gonna hesitate for one turn, but yeah, Purple just has nothing against this. What's it gonna be, Kazakus to kind of contest this board? Looking like he just won't get to turn 8, but...
Dragonfire is a way to fight back on the following turn.
No kidding. So that actually puts Purple in a decent spot if Pavel decides to go all in with these minions, but I doubt he will.
Alright, so what are the odds on Pavel playing around Dragonfire Potion here?
Well, he can by playing the bigger Corridor Creeper. So if he trades away like the Flame Elemental into the Loot Hoarder, he can actually play 7/7.
But at the same time, why
Sure.
would you do that?
Okay. It's not like Dragonfire is the worst thing ever either, because he could still... Oh, I was going to say, because he could still refill with 3 things in the following turn.
It's pretty bad, actually, here for Pavel.
Yeah.
He's played pretty heavily into it
Yeah,
as well.
I thought he was going to hold on to the 0-cost one. And wait, Purple's got his Raza.
He has actually got Raza and Anduin already available, so from the slightly odd place from Pavel, not really playing around Dragonfire whatsoever, he put himself in a slightly shaky spot, but he has actually just played an absolutely disgusting turn.
Sure. With the Raza heal, though, it's not quite enough to get there. Well, yeah, he'll be at 17, and for Pavel will have 16 with the SI and the dagger, so...
1 damage of lethal.
Yeah, maybe Purple gets there. I don't know.
It's looking like this game is going in Pavel's favor.
Yeah. That is way more than enough to get the job done.
That'll most certainly do it. Even throwing down a nice friendly BM silence to close out this game.
Perhaps a throwback to an unnecessary silence from a few games ago.
Well, that one was just awful. This one was just brilliant.
Yeah,
So.
and Pavel's nodding with his chin up.
This is what you like to see. One of my favorite Pavel expressions, actually. Just, come on, bro. What are you saying?
Pavel, I mean, it's great to see these two having a good time at least. It is Christmas Eve, guys. It's time to be festive, and if you're gonna only have time to play Hearthstone, then there's still some ways to make the game a bit more fun for everyone.
It's true. It's like 4 hours till Christmas here in Taipei. Really starting the countdown now, and what better present could we have than the gift of friendship between Pavel and Purple?
Friendship, the power of friendship, the gift of friendship. It's the story of every tournament, and of course, these players want that more than anything.
I mean, for Purple here, it's kind of looking like the story of Monk Air's his particular Christmas experience at the moment. But yeah, just needs to get that one win with his Highlander Priest. Got a so-so to probably a bit unfavored matchup against the Quest Druid. But against the Warlock, he's looking very nice indeed.
Sure, and I wonder what these two are thinking about at this point. I feel like they should just have a staring contest at this point, you know? Like, what else can they be doing?
I mean, this is just classic Pavel. Whenever he has the opportunity to, if he's sitting across from his opponent, he does just laugh. He just starts giggling, and it puts them off their game. And it's kind of hilarious, but it's also kind of just awesome to see.
You know what I really want to see here?
What would you really like to see here,
I would like to see Purple somehow play a Raza that doesn't activate so Pavel can clap at it. I don't know how that happens in a non-priest mirror.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But if...
It's an interesting wish to have.
It might just actually be impossible without any Discover effects,
I think it might literally be impossible.
No, wait. So, Purple can play a Blood Mage.
Right.
Pavel can Faceless the Blood Mage, and then Purple, for some reason, plays Psychic Scream. Shuffle them both back into the deck, and then he plays the Raza for the memes. Pavel treats us with his very gracious applause.
No, but how does Pavel ever get Psychic Scream? Because it has to...
No, Purple plays it himself because he's in on the meme.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. Oh, of course.
Your magic shall not save.
That still doesn't work because... Okay, never mind. It would still shuffle it into his opponent's deck, right?
Oh, right. It's not his own.
Yeah.
God, I was so
I like
close.
your thinking, but this is going to be a much more standard game, I would say, as Purple gets a pretty decent hand to get things going. Obviously no Raza or Anduin right at the start of the game. But actually, looking at his opponent, Pavel's got, again, pretty much the perfect hand to combat against these slightly slower matchups.
They'll serve me now.
Absolutely, and without a Potion of Madness or some kind of silence effect for this Lackey, it seems like Pavel's got the train of Doom Guards possible. Of course, the Lackey could pull out a Void Lord, but it's less likely because there's Void Lord in hand already for Pavel.
And so for Pavel, he really just needs to be searching towards that Doom Guard as quick as he can, be it from his deck with the Cabal Lackey or just drawing it naturally to summon with the Skull of the Manari. But Pavel's actually got his own one there.
Darkness rises.
That would have been very nice indeed for Pavel if he had managed to pull out a a Doom Guard from his deck there to copy it, play the Dark Pact, and just start smacking to face with everything you've got. But even here, pulling out a 9-drop from your deck can only be so bad.
Yeah, doesn't matter. He may have lost a 1 in 3, but Skull of the Manari can still get things going. Whereas Purple is not drawn into Raza or Anduin, and actually taking 2 demons from that potion seems awfully weird because they just clunk up his hand like this.
Yeah, that's not usually it seems like that's probably the least picked potion option out of all of them in Kazaka's Priest. I guess it's just giving him stuff to do to fight back against what Pavel could throw down on board.
Yep. Unfortunately, the demon that he did pick up was one that discards cards, and you definitely don't want to be discarding Valence. So maybe the Hooked Reaver gets to see its full 7/7 glory, though.
That could be pretty cool. I don't think I've seen that actually be played so far.
Did he not play Zoo in the first 2 days of the expansion when everybody was like, oh, Suicide Zoo is gonna be the thing?
And then they realized that Hooked Reaver probably just doesn't make the cut?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably some variants of Warlock that can play Void Lords as soon as Lackeys die make more sense.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there. Purple... Pavel's looking like he would have to agree with you as well, as the Doom Guard is picked up and summoned.
Now is this lethal? With
pretty
Cuban
wild is going to
Dark
start happening.
Wait, 9, 12, and that it is lethal, right? Or does it all fit? Because he had... whatever. I mean... Between...
It's all messed up now in my head now that the Mistress has died, but you're usually pretty spot on with your lethal counting, so I'm going to trust you there that maybe it was
Yeah, okay,
there.
so he has right now 10 on board. It was 12 a while ago, and the Anduin was at 22 a while ago. So if you cube and then pact, you get another 10, right? So, doesn't matter.
I can respect that. If there was room on board...
Pavel's here to have fun.
Exactly. And he's still looking in a good spot going forward, at least.
Yeah, Mountain Giant can come down pretty nice and clean here. It is scary to Anduin, but it is more resistant to Dragonfire Potion.
And it's just picking your poison at that point. We did see one card was kept by Purple, and we haven't seen it yet. And assuming that it is either Anduin or the Shadow of Death seems pretty reasonable, actually.
All good indeed. So, no silence picked up for Purple. So, between cube attacking and then pacting it, because it has 2 Doom Guards and then a Faceless Manipulator for one of them, still doesn't quite get there with all this healing. So, Purple picked up the Anduin, so he's not in a bad spot at all.
Yeah, starting to look a little bit better, but if we look at the amount of damage coming through, there's 4 in that cube, there's then 10 inside it, obviously with the Doom Guards coming out. And with all these Facelesses that can start to come down, Pavel is actually starting to work himself towards a lethal opportunity.
If he had more mana, it would be something fun, I guess, with Hellfire and Double Defile, but maybe next turn. Ooh, that's a pretty good card to pick up here, wouldn't you say?
That is absolutely ridiculous. The Dirty Rat rounding it out so perfectly as well. There is
was awesome!
surely nothing that Pavel can do, because those Doom Guards are just gone. They're not just shuffled back into the deck inside the cubes. The Death Rattle is gone, so it's just cubes inside the deck
They
now.
have been removed from the game,
Exactly.
essentially, and Purple is free to go and ping away.
Yeah, obviously trying to find that Raza as quick as he can now, but to be honest, even without that, he's got such a respectable amount of damage over the next few turns.
He's got nothing to worry about. Doom Guards are gone. I guess, has one even died for Gul'dan?
Yeah, I think one has died because it got cubed.
Sure, doesn't matter though.
That's right. And who knows, maybe Pavel ends up discarding Gul'dan again.
So yeah, just going through the motions here. Without Araza, how many turns does it take?
I think with the Dark Pact and the greater healing, the greater Spellstone as well, it's going to take a little while to get through all the damage for purple. So he is still on that race to try and find Araza as quick as he can, but he's got all the time in the world because when the Giant comes down, he can quite happily go for the Shadow Word Death. I suppose with the cube as well, things start to get a little bit more difficult, but there's still just the Master Spell there to counteract everything that could come down from Pavel.
Yeah, and he's got the Death for the Giant. Everything is totally under control for purple here. I wonder what Pavel's thinking about. I feel like this is just the best Faceless you're going to get at this point without any more Doom Guards except the one post-Gul'dan.
Well, maybe he's just thinking, if Master Spell is right at the bottom of the deck, then maybe I stand a chance, because I'm going to have to get something pretty ridiculous now to take the game. He's thinking, cube into Faceless it, into just attacking for 4 every single turn for like 5 turns somehow.
Makes a lot of sense, and now because the cube has been silenced, that Mountain Giant is also just gone.
Yeah.
Very much not too much left to be said here, so I kind of want to go back to what is left in store for us, which is the finals between Kranich and Virtual. These two players have gotten through the likes of Pavel and Purple to get to this point, which is incredibly impressive.
Yeah, they've done a remarkably good job so far, and looking at the final series, I think Kranich is going to have a much harder fight than he's had in the last couple of games. Given that his aggressive lineup will be finding one that's slightly more equipped to deal with him. But for the moment at least, it's going to be Purple advancing through to the 3rd place finisher. Very nicely done over Pavel, his opponent. But with the Kazakus Priest up against this Cube Warlock, it was going to have to be something pretty disgusting to take it out. So congratulations to Purple, taking